who are new to moms, new to our movement. You know, we started right after the Sandy Hook school shooting by the woman referenced in Shannon Watts. She was living in Indianapolis, stay-at-home mom. She started Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America in her kitchen, and we've grown to be the largest volunteer organization in the country working to reduce gun violence on all levels, in all sorts of different ways. And here's just a couple of things, like we work on gun legislation. And then one of the big things is we know gun violence is preventable. It doesn't have to be like it is today. This is not normal. Never let anybody tell you it's normal. We work a whole lot with other community groups, and we're really committed to helping all of us live a safer, healthier, and happier life. And then, you know, we support gun laws, work with local partners. We do a lot of election work. We do all this public education around secure gun storage. If you want to volunteer with us, we'll train the heck out of you. And again, part of what we're doing is just raising awareness that this is not normal, and there's ways we can reduce gun violence. This is just to remind us why our work is so important. I think, as many of you know, yesterday was the first anniversary of the Covenant school shooting up in Nashville, which was, people are never going to forget it. And then even thanks to Terrence Spake, who's in our audience tonight, these statistics are from the Gun Violence Archive, right, Taryn? And this is just the people who've been shot and killed in our local community since, not only shot and wounded, and then shot and killed since our last meeting. So you can see 62 people wounded, including an 11-year-old girl, 26 people shot, 16-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and domestic violence, house parties. You know, it's just this long litany of carnage. And then Taryn found an incident in Nashville, which I think just happened last week, where a woman, apparently her mother was looking through her purse to get her keys, and she had a loaded semi-automatic pistol in her purse. And as she was going through the purse to get her keys, somehow she triggered the gun, and she shot and killed her 13-year-old daughter. So anyway, if anybody wants to work with us on secure gun storage, we're all about it. We've got a whole program that, like, Church Health uses, Youth Villages uses, Lebanon uses. So that said, we're gonna get started with Jazmin Miller, who's with Carpenter Art Garden. In 2023, in 2023, Moms is part of a group called, I think you know, okay. Moms is part of we're part of Every Town for Gun Safety. And Every Town for Gun Safety gave Carpenter Art Garden.
Yes. Let's see if we get, it takes a minute. Let's think about what it wants to do. Okay. Hello, everybody. Is this a good place right here? Thanks so much for having me. My name is Jazmin Miller. I'm the executive director of Carpenter Art Garden. And let's see, I've been there about 1.5 years. And if you would have told me upon accepting that job that I would be working with Moms Demand Action, Every Town, I would have told you that you're crazy and that I'm an arts administrator and we do art. The two don't really go together, right? Because that's an education thing. It's a geographic thing. It's so many things. But immediately getting involved at Carpenter Art Garden, I was able to see, wasn't in Kansas anymore. Carpenter Street is a very special place, but the places around Carpenter Street, I do want to talk a bit about Binghamton, that, we are heavily impacted by gun violence. A few weeks ago, we had a drive-by while the kids were on site. Bullet holes penetrated the Purple House during our art programs. It is a normal day for us to get on the ground. It has happened in the past that we've had children get wounded during programs. on other sites and brought to local. So gun violence is just a thing where we serve, and it impacts us every day. So I want to talk a bit about the art garden. This is Ernest. He's my favorite child, and he knows it. And a couple of things that we do. So we are very strategically placed on Carpenter Street in Binghamton. I mean, not far from here, but between Cornerstone and Lester Prep and Chickasaw Place Apartments here. So we are all along this corridor, and I'll talk about all that we do. And we're there on purpose because you've got hundreds of kids who live here. Most of these kids are going to Cornerstone, Lester Prep. Some of them are going to Douglas. There's a community center here. There's a park here. So this is all kind of a hotbed for children. If you know anything about children, they're sponges. They're very impressionable. And you know, most of our kids are, let's see, it's 60% of children in Binghamton are living beneath the poverty line. Every single child that we serve is living beneath the poverty line and in need of our services. And so this is just a little data that we, you know, that we used to think through grant writing, through how we serve, through interviews with neighbors. If you look here, between 2010 and 2020, poverty went down. Not very much, but it went down in Memphis as a whole. But if you look at Binghamton as a neighborhood, it went up by 6%, which is pretty significant. And if you look at these two numbers, 10.8 for Memphis, but 31.6 for Binghamton, that's pretty significant, right? And where we are along Carpenter Street is where a vast majority of folks living beneath the poverty line live. And so that is really crucial to understanding what we do. So Mary wanted me to talk about how we've grown over the years. We used to be one lot on the right across the street from the school. Art was taken out of the school system in 2012. And so we just wanted to be additive. We do art with kids. And I think the story goes like, you know, Aaron and volunteers thought, okay, we'll have like 20 kids show up, and like 100 kids showed up. So that's our day to day. Like we get this, you know, mad dash of children. And so there was a need for an indoor location. And so that's when they purchased the Purple House, which was the trap house of the neighborhood, or the drug house, renovated it and turned it into the indoor location. So, and so another thing about these lots, most of these lots were blighted. Most of the houses that we've renovated were unfortunately used for you know, they were drug houses, but we were able to renovate them and turn them into creative spaces for children. So this is the Purple House in 2012. This is the Purple House today. And last year, we were able to serve about 250 children who live along this corridor daily through our three core programs, which are art education, art intervention, and artist therapy. And I'll talk a bit about those. So art education nurtures the mind. We take our kids through a pretty rigorous curriculum. We just took them to New Orleans. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was a lot. But they learn art criticism, art production, aesthetics, and art history. I'm so surprised I remembered all four of those. And we test them, and we give them what's appropriate for their age bracket. And so, you know, these are a couple of things that our kids make, and they learn to price it, and they get to sell it at a big gallery sale in August. So you guys please come to that. And then there's art intervention, which is, so art education nurtures the mind, but art intervention is meant to intervene on a circumstance that arises out of poverty. So that's, we know that poverty impacts transportation, impacts the way you eat, impacts education. And so we want to be additive. We do homework help. We have 2 organic vegetable gardens. There's nowhere to buy fresh produce in Binghamton. And if you're poor, if you don't have a car, Kroger is really far away. So you're going to the corner store, or you're going to be able to buy whatever you need for under $1 at the art garden. So, right, the community really relies on that. Transportation, that's why we have a bike shop. Bikes are available for parents who need a way to get to work, and bikes are available for kids. We also do community bike rides. So So that's art intervention. A couple of our bikes, our garden. And then there's artist therapy. Most of our kids, all of our kids are impacted by, by poverty, by gun violence, and a slew of other things. So kids are available. Our kids are able to meet with a therapist one-on-one. They're able to participate in group therapy on Mondays, mindfulness Mondays, through breath work, through meeting with our social worker. And any kid who asks for a one-on-one will get it. So that's pretty neat. And then the newest thing we've been able to do is Tillman Sculpture Park, which is on the corner of Tillman and Princeton. And this is where you guys have come in and been really incredible, because we have been able to build one sculpture with volunteers from Moms Demand Action. Look, I've got a picture of it. That's my dog, Jaffe. He comes to the art garden pretty often. But the kids and a couple of volunteers were able to make mosaics through our mosaics program. We have a kiln room. And there's just something about working with your hands, having a kid come daily, having our teens come daily, paying them an hourly rate to make something, to also provide that economy. Because if you are at the art garden every day, making a mosaic tile that's going to go onto a sculpture, that's going to go into this park, you're actively not choosing something else. So we do believe that art can be a very passive, like incredible creative cultivator within the community and among our children and our teenagers. And so, so that's our mosaics program. We've got so many programs. I could talk and talk and talk and go. But I will say that you guys have been really instrumental in that education piece. I'll be honest. I see automatic rifles on Carpenter Street. I see children with guns on Carpenter Street. I know that some of our parents carry. I know that few of them have had safety classes. None of them know that, a lock would be good for that gun. We've all seen a slew of things and felt the pressure of what's going on. We've had staff lose children due to gun violence, be a part of this group. Tarlisa and Latanya have both been members of Moms Demand Action. Sarah joined you all for the Advocacy Day. And got some really incredible letters in hands of lawmakers who have since reached out to me. So your work is pushing, moving the needle forward, and we thank you for that. And we recognize that there's a way to go. So thank you so much for everything that you've done for the city and for this state and for this world. And thanks for being a great partner.
Anybody, you take some questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just start off. Is there anything? The problem is on a day-to-day basis, on a day-to-day, day in and day out. Is there anything we could be doing, or is there anything we could be supporting you as you and your staff?
Yeah.
Keep the kids safe.
Mm-hmm. This is going to sound so cliche, but exactly what you're doing, right? Like what you're doing is going to affect the climate that's so heated around us right now. You know what I mean? We have recently had to explore what it would be like to get our kids off site a couple of times a week to get them out of the hotbed. Gun incidents were happening daily. They've slowed down a little bit in the last 2 weeks, but gosh, it's been hard to operate and keep everyone safe. So I suppose as things heat up and we feel that the neighborhood can be a little volatile, maybe there are volunteer opportunities, especially at Tillman Sculpture Park, planting opportunities, more mosaics to be made. You're always welcome to join us.
And so if somebody wanted to become more active,
yeah.
What would be a good way to plug in with you?
You can email me. My email, I should have included that in the PowerPoint. Mary has it.
I have it.
If you have pens, get ready. It's Jazmin. So that's Jazmin, Jazmin, at carpenterartgarden.org. Like Philip's laughing at me. We always take volunteers in the garden. But Tillman Sculpture Park is getting ready. We're getting ready to move some things on site there and could use some help. The summer's about to be here. We're about to have a lot of kids. If you like children, please, by all means, come and hang out with Ernest.
How involved or how often do you see the parents of the kids?
That's a great question. Pretty often. So again, geographically, everyone's kind of close. So most of the kids we serve are at Chickasaw Place. And, the saying goes, the way to get to the parents is to get to the kids. So it's not uncommon to have parents who are not cooking bok choy and kale and, living at Chickasaw Place. They're getting a quick meal from the corner store that you can heat up in the microwave and get for little of nothing. But when you have a kid who has learned this chicken, garlic, Parmesan, bok choy soup recipe and they take it home and with the ingredients and a recipe card, that's when we're seeing the parents show up and going, what did I just eat? How do I get that? How do I do that? Or kids making art and selling art. And it's not, it's $91 at an art sale going to a fourth grader is significant. That's half of a parent's rent. And so at Chickasaw. And so, so the way of the parents through the kids, and they're coming with their children.
My question is, you mentioned the gun locks and all. Have we ever done the Be Smart program there?
We have a long time ago, and then in 2023, we did one just for the staff.
Mm-hmm.
But we could,
That would be a good thing. Just say, hey, they're coming here. Just so, because a lot of times it's people want to know that stuff, but they just don't know where to go get the information.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll say something real quick. So volunteers, right?
Uh-huh.
Has anybody been to the art garden before?
I was gonna say, I've seen you before.
I would just say, if you can, take a day or reach out to her and bring a friend. I mean, what happens there, that map that she had up earlier,
Mm-hmm. There it is.
The school, I think, if you don't mind, Jazmin, the one where you could see the school, it's pretty amazing between the hours of what?
3.
3 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's everything that's right in the world happens right there because of her and all the people that are there every day. Those kids come out of school and it's a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
It should be a much safer place, but it's a safe place for them to be. And the work that she does is unbelievable. And you could use volunteers, right? I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
And shame on me. I mean, I said all the bad things, but the best part of 3
not shame on you, not shame on you at all.
Is the inundation of children filling the street and picking flowers and pouring into all these spaces and running in the garden and cracking jokes and lining up for bikes and overwhelming us in the best way.
And the parents come because of the meal they had then. I mean, it's just really special to see it. And then we had to cancel she had to cancel a bike ride one day because of gun violence, fear of gun violence in the community. So she could use your support. And thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah. If you have a bike you're not using, that's another way. We will take it. We'll fix it up. I mean, if it's in the worst shape possible, maybe not. Like Jean can only do so much, but we've got a guy who comes in every Monday and just repairs the bikes, and that's everything to a parent who doesn't have a way to get to work, and rely on that bike.
You have programs in the evening, and what are your programs like during the summer?
That's a great question. We have programs every day from 3 to 5. We typically do like to be out before dark. And sometimes in the, daylight savings, we'll stay a little longer till 5:30. Summer, we have them all day. So that's fun. And all day for us is like 9 to 3. And we offer, we offer art classes, bike rides, gardening, culinary arts, project-based learning, creative project-based learning. So these are kids participating in creative writing, writing books, writing poetry, theater, and I'm sure I'm leaving some. Sewing. Yeah, we have sewing studio. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm so bad at
no. Before the meeting, you told me something really interesting about the challenge of just the bike riding program.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that and how you navigate or try to navigate around that?
Yeah. So bike rides are high stakes, meaning, our school lets out and the kids are running because they're all trying to get to the bike ride. We only have so many bikes, so only so many kids can go. Like we can take like 15. Elsie, you try taking 15 little boys on a bike ride down the Green Line. But we can't take more than that. They love it. We have had to put it on pause because 2 months ago was the third time our kids got threatened in the park. And the last time there was a weapon. And this is also with a Marine and a member of the National Guard on the bike ride. So it's a liability, and until we can figure that one out, we've paused the bike rides.
Just from people wanting to take the bike away from them?
Wanting to take the bike. And usually, every time they've been other children, they've been teenagers, 14. That's Howe's Park. So we usually cut through, like the bike shops here, we usually cut through there, go down Tillman, and then go to the Green Line. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tim Cooper is up at the top, that map.
Yeah.
It would be the top, and the top one would be down at the bottom going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, say that one more time. From Tillman, we get more now. We get more support than we have when I first started. I mean, when I first started, I hear gunshots and I'm getting on the ground. Nobody else is flinching. And I'm just like on the ground calling the Tillman police precinct. And they're like, is there anything else? Like, is that all? Like, that all? Now they're pretty proactive. They patrol a little bit more. They've even offered for a season to go on bike rides with us. They're officers on bikes. So that's exciting. And we'll try that starting in May. So yeah, we do now. They are between 7 and 18. Mm-hmm. We start them in second grade because it can become a daycare very quickly. And we're like, no, we're an art program. Art program, no babies.
I'll email you, but just talk. Friends of the library will give you books if you want books.
Yeah.
For children, for adults, for whatever you want, free.
Wonderful.
As many, and that's for any nonprofit.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as you want.
We'll
You
take
might
books.
have to pick them up.
Yeah, we'll take books. Yes, actually, and it's been so great as we didn't even request it. We were in the Daily Memphian for a march that the kids did. It was beautiful. Anyways, that's a story. It all developed while I was in a board meeting. So people were like, you tried to set the kids up to do this march, and when I was like, no, I literally no. They they came up with it. What it is, we create hearts every year and we pass them out in the neighborhood, and the kids didn't feel safe to do that. And so they said, could we just take them to the corner and put them where a lot of bad things happen and then go back? So they weren't really thinking of it as a march. I think they were just thinking of it as a, we want people to see our work, but we just want to go back. And the Daily Memphian wrote a beautiful article about it. And Mayor Young read the article and reached out and said, hey, I'd like to visit and learn a bit more and see how I can support. And so he did that. And he's smiling. He pretty regularly, just checks in. So that's good. And that's been pretty recent. So.
Your representative is in Nashville, and if they involve, I shouldn't have put you on the spot.
So we had coffee. We had coffee, and you asked me this question, and I didn't know. And then you emailed me. And no, that's okay. 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 I should reach out to them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anybody? Thanks so much, Jazmin.
Thank
If
you.
Anybody's got one last question? No? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I just think that what the work they're doing, there's other groups in town that are doing this kind of work that's really at the ground level, that's going to make a long-term difference. And so I think sometimes the news can be so disheartening, and what's happening in Nashville can be so disheartening. So it's just good to know that there's all sorts of people in the community out there really working hard to make a difference. So on that note, we're going to get Patricia up here. And I think a number of people in the room tonight went to Nashville with us for Advocacy Day. Yay, yay you. Yes, we had like more than 100 groups, including several that are represented here tonight, join us for Advocacy Day this year. And so Patricia is going to give us an update on what's going on up there since we left.
Well, when we went for Advocacy Day, that's just us going one day a year to try to get through to our senators and representatives in Nashville. We really owe a debt of gratitude to our fellow moms in Nashville, because they are there day after day after day. And this particular session has been really difficult on them, because they're told that certain bills will be heard in a certain committee at a certain time, and they go and they sit there for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then they roll it. And that has happened to them multiple times, and not just to moms, but lots of other people who have a vested interest in some of these bills. And so it would seem that they are reluctant to speak in public about their views on these bills. I'll leave it there. All right. We had those of you who went with us to Nashville. We had several priorities. One of our priorities was no more guns in schools, no arming teachers, and that apparently is not going to pass this time. It hasn't been put on the calendar, so that's kind of a negative victory, but it is a small victory. One of the other things that we wanted was the extreme risk protection order, the red flag law, and that has been put on the calendar. They have some bills that they're going to hear starting April the 2nd on what they call the gun calendar, and the ERPO bill, the extreme risk protection order, red flag law, will be heard on that day. We are not optimistic that it's even going to get out of the committee. It doesn't look like it's going to. But one thing that our Nashville moms have asked us to do is please call the members of the Civil Justice Subcommittee and tell them that you want this law. We know it's a popular proposal. And I have made you a list of all the representatives that are on this committee. This is the House committee. all the representatives that are on this committee and their phone numbers. I'm going to leave it on that table over there. Just snap a picture of it with your phone, take it home and enlarge it and call those people. You won't talk to them. You will talk to probably their legislative assistant or secretary in their office, but leave a message that you are a Tennessean in favor of red flag laws and you want them to vote for that. The other bill that we had really wanted was the safe storage bill that we have tried for several sessions running now, and it is probably dead. They even tried a modified version this year that would have allowed cities that wanted safe storage in vehicles to be able to have that, but that's not passing either. And the one for statewide is probably not even going to be heard. Objection, well, the stated objection is that if you somehow single out or penalize a person whose gun has been stolen from their car, then you are punishing the victim. And it's been the original proposal has been modified so that there's no fine, there are no negative consequences, but they still believe that freedom to have your gun in your car means nobody can tell you that you have to lock it up. And as a consequence, we have cars all over town with their windows smashed out so people can get the gun out. But this is where we are. This is where we are. Let me see. What there are other bills that require that apply to very few people. There is a bill that would allow a person at risk of self-harm to waive their own rights to possess a gun, to let someone remove those guns from them. They have not voted on that. There is a bill proposed that would require K through 12 schools to conduct age-appropriate gun safety training. We oppose this. We oppose gun safety training for children because that isn't their responsibility. It's the responsibility of adults to do that. And on top of that, it's one more thing to put on teachers who already can't do all the things they're supposed to do. There is another bill that would say that people who have been judged to be mentally defective would be prevented from, who have been deemed incompetent to stand trial. Both of those things. They are, in other words, I guess, an insanity defense. They are not competent to stand trial. That they would allow some level of mental health treatment for them, and during that time, they wouldn't be able to have guns. We've been very neutral on this because it applies to a very small number of people. It's kind of worthless. They also are requiring the Department of Education to create conflict resolution curriculum for schools. Again, more stuff for teachers to do. Anyway, it has not been a terribly positive legislative session for us so far. Could have been worse, though. Could have been worse. They could have done the arming teachers things. But I do ask you, if you think you have time to do it, or even if you're not sure, just take a picture of those names and phone numbers and call those people and tell them we need a red flag law. Okay, and now Dave is going to talk to you about elections.
Good evening. We're just getting started on this, but we're going to be doing election work. We're going to know a whole lot more about it next month when we have our meeting, but we're kind of jumping the gun. Anybody who's interested in working on elections this year, and this is not for any candidate. We're not working with candidates. We're not working with parties or anything. We will find some candidates that we would be supporting who support us, and then do things independent of them, or get invited to their events. But but it's all done independently. But anyone who's interested in doing any of this stuff and maybe getting together and helping plot out a strategy, after the meeting, come find me or Patricia and give us your name, and we'll get something set up once we've learned a little bit more, which we'll know in about 2 weeks. That's the first thing. And the other important thing is, when is the date of the Pride? Pardon? June 1st. Moms always has a booth there at Pride, and I know they're going to be asked, that we've got the things. But what I want everybody to do is to show up. And if you don't want to walk, it's a great event to go to. It's a lot of fun. You have a good time. But the most fun is to come and be in the parade, because we will have an entry in the parade, and we've had up to 40 or 50 people just marching, carrying our banner and our shirts and signs and stuff like that. So please, 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 if you can, mark your calendar for June 1st. And I think the parade usually starts right around noon. We walk down Beale Street, 2 or 3 blocks. It's not real long, and it's a lot of fun. So please mark your calendar, because we're going to be asking people to come and participate in that.
You can actually sign up. That way we'll call and remind you that you signed up.
And we'll bug you many times leading up to June. We will remind you. We will remind people about it. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for either Patricia or I on this stuff?
And the other thing is, if you know somebody who's going to be running for office, once you mentioned the gun sense.
Yes, if you know anyone who's running for office, let Patricia and I know. We have a program called Gun Sense Candidates. It's not endorsements. And basically, we turn their name into moms, or every town. Every town sends them a real simple survey, 7 or 8 questions, asking their opinion and how they would vote on gun legislation and gun issues. And then they'll come back, and if they do the right thing, answer it the right way, which most people will, because 90% of the people agree with this. It's just 90% of the people up in Nashville don't, unfortunately. But they'll get a designation that they can use saying, I'm a gun sense candidate, and Moms Demand Action looked at my thoughts on this, and they said, I agree with them. So if you know anyone running for office, please let us know. We've already sent in some of the names, but I'd rather get a name 2 or 3 times rather than miss anyone. So let us know.
And then Joanne, we've got all sorts of things coming up in June. Joanne Lewis, do you want to come on up? Wear Orange is another mom's event. Oh,
good evening. I know that I came up with some ideas for Wear Orange. I've done that event before, maybe a couple of times, been the chair of it. And I kind of wanted to do it in Robert R. Church Park again, because it was really successful before, and having it, I kind of wanted to have a funeral director there to speak, because, they get to see all the gunshot victims and everything, kind of hear their side. Also hear the side of the physician. I've heard physicians talk about, it's really traumatizing for them to do their work, to constantly see gunshot victims. So I wanted to have all these people out there to provide awareness to the public. And also we will have some fun too. So I would have some music, different musicians who are willing to volunteer their time to come out, and then just have people volunteer and to just make some food, to have it really happy. It's for a bad time, but we're gonna try to have some fun while we're doing it, and give them some food and give them some knowledge. But once I arrived today, I heard that St. Jude is having a big Wear Orange, and I'll actually see if I could partner with them. But if it's, I'll just check it out, and then I'll let you guys know. And then if you want to volunteer with me, I welcome you to come aboard and ride this train. Joanne Lewis.
And that is the week after Pride. So that's June 8th, right? Yeah. So if you're interested, let us know, and and also, is everybody aware of our Moms Demand Action Facebook page? Valerie handles for us. Hey, Valerie, and she also handles the t-shirts. But you can always check that. We'll have that updated. And here's some other events we've got coming up. And so, yeah, trying to think if anybody's got any other questions or has questions about Advocacy Day or wants to provide some feedback on Advocacy Day. We're all about it. We've got the Survivor Quilt project that we're still planning to do. We're working on a location and finding some help with the quilting part of it. But yeah, stay and talk. Yeah, Dave.
I'll give my feedback on Advocacy Day.
Great.
I like the fact that we, this year, went to see everybody.
Okay.
And, usually we go see our people, and most of the representatives here in Shelby County are already backing us. So it's kind of like all good times and everything. But we had an opportunity to go see people who weren't backing us this time. And what I really liked is basically we were allowed this time to say things if they kind of pushed back and said they didn't really support us and we didn't have all the information. We were able to say, okay, great, we'll see you in November. So we were pushing back on them. So I really, really like that format, and I hope we do it again next year.
Anybody else? Because I know I've heard from some people that were a little disappointed that depending on who was available, that was a busy day. Not everybody got to actually talk to the representative. So we're going to keep that in mind again. Right. And we've had a busy month. We've done, as Keisha knows, I think Keisha was there for all of the, we did a Be Smart presentation for local first responders, and Sheriff's Department was there and for us. We had some West Tennessee sheriffs came in to list, and the Be Smart is the secure gun storage. And we did it for healthcare providers, and the folks from our state Be Smart leads got a grant from the American Pediatrics Association. They're doing this in 5 towns around the state, and they started in Memphis, and it was a great presentation, a great turnout. We had it at the Memphis Junior League. And so Keisha and Teresa Rice and Christy Bauer headed that up. And then through that, we got an invitation to do another Be Smart secure gun storage presentation to the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. It's like their Citizens Academy. And so Keisha, who also has a full-time job, was there working with Christy and Courtney, and they did a presentation there. We've been at Memphis Allies, had a great, really, really exciting conference this week out at the Memphis Hilton. We had an information table there, made lots of good connections with people. I'm sure there was other stuff we did. My mind is blanking right now. But and if you don't have the Moms Demand Action app, you text app to 64433 and you'll find out everything we got going on, not only in Memphis, but around the state and around the country. So, all right, thanks. Have some snacks, take a picture of the call sheet, sit around and chat. We've got the library closes at 8, so at that point you'll have to leave, but until then, please stay. Please stay.
Go upstairs and get your Eclipse glasses.
Oh, really? Oh, they have them upstairs? Oh, yeah, do a picture. Wait, don't leave yet. We're going to do a picture. Did you do a picture? Oops.